So today's our topic is scope of food preservation industry in India. So what are the scope and what are the current status of preservation industry of fruits and vegetable in India, and what are its advantages, what are its prospects. So all the things we study today. So first is introduction. So in introduction, fruits and vegetables are most important supplement to the nutritional requirement in human diet, as they provide essential minerals, vitamins, fiber that are required for maintaining our good health. So as we know, beside any other thing, fruits and vegetable plays a very vital role in our balanced diet or in our daily life, because it provides us a lot of essential nutrients like minerals, vitamins, fibers that are required for our good health. Second is the in India, in the production of fruits and vegetable, India is become at second largest producer after China. So at first position, China comes at first position in the production of fruits and vegetable. After China, India comes at second position in the production of fruits and vegetable. Huge quantity of produce is wasted due to inadequate facilities for preservation, as only 1.5 to 2% of the total produce is processed in the country. So as we know, most of the produced quantity of vegetables and fruits are wasted. Why? Because due to inadequate facilities of preservation, storage, or you can say that processing. So there is only 1.5 to 2% of the total produce. So if the produce is total 100%, so only 1.5 to 2% of the total produce is only processed in our country. Fruits and vegetable preservation is thus one of the major pillars of the food industry. The food preservation and processing industry has now become a necessity rather than being a luxury. So, in previous years, preservation industry, industry uh, is a luxury type of lifestyle. So, if you know someone using packed food or someone using processed food, so that type of thing, we feel that that is a luxury type thing, but nowadays it become our necessity, because to reduce the wastage of fruits and vegetable, because fruits and vegetables are very perishable in nature. They deteriorate or they decay very easily or at a very short period of time. Okay, so in order to reduce the wastage of fruits and vegetable, the main aim is to preserve them, to store them, or to process them. So that's why nowadays food preservation or processing industries become a necessity of our life. Next is food is the prime necessity of life, and it can be classified into different groups according to their nutritional value. So again, food is divided into different categories or different groups according to their nutrition value and function to our body. First category is energy giving food. So those food provide us energy or calories that are called energy giving food. Any food which provide energy is classified as energy giving food. 1 gram of carbohydrate imparts 4 calories, while 1 gram of fat provides 9 calories of energy. For example, so energy giving foods are cereals, fruits, tubers, dried fruit, sugar, fat, etc. So by the consumption of all these foods, we provide energy to our body. Second is bodybuilding food. Food which are rich in protein. So bodybuilding food कौन से होते हैं that are rich in protein, ठीक है, और protein rich food कौन से होते हैं? For example, milk, meat, fish, egg. They are rich in protein of high biological value. Secondly, after these foods, pulses are comes. After that, oil, seeds, nuts that are rich in protein. Though these proteins contain many essential amino acids for the synthesis of body tissue, yet may not process all essential amino acids required for the human body. So there are number of bodybuilding foods that contain high amount of or a high biological value of protein. They are milk, meat, fish, egg. After that, the pulses are come, and then oil seeds, nuts that are very rich, that have a very high biological value of protein. And they also contain many essential amino acids that required for our body. Next, third category is protective food. So food that rich in protein, vitamin, minerals are protective food. So those foods that contain protein as well as mineral as well as vitamins, they are called protective food. For example, milk, egg, green leafy vegetables, fruits. Then again, protective foods are divided into two types. First is high biological value foods. Second is low biological value foods. So first is high biological value foods. Food rich in protein, vitamins, minerals are protective food of high biological values. For example, milk. And this group includes foods which rich in minerals and vitamins but deficient in proteins. But the foods that are deficient in proteins but they also have minerals and vitamins, they are called low biological value foods. For example, fruits, because in fruits there is no protein available. Vegetable, green leafy vegetables. Thus, fruits and vegetables are characterized as a protective foods of low biological value as they are rich in carbohydrates, dietary fiber, minerals, vitamins, and flavonoid, etc. Next is the status of fruits and vegetables in India. So, uh, at what stage India stands in the production of fruits and vegetables? So, first of all, out of total crop area in India is 184 million hectare. Out of 184 million hectare, horticulture crops cover about 20.7 million hectare, that is 11.25% of the total gross crop area. So horticultural crops contribute about 18 to 20% of the gross value of Indian agriculture output. So if the total agriculture output is 100%, so out of total 100%, horticultural crops will contribute 18 to 25%. India is the largest producer of mango, banana, and lime. The country produced 41% of world's banana, 23%, 41% of world's mango, 23% of banana, and 24% of cashew nut, and accounts for 12% of the world food production. Uh, Besides that, about 5.66 million tons of loose flour, spices, mushroom, aromatic plants are also produced. The export of fresh fruits and vegetables from India in 2006 and 7 was estimated at 9.84 lakh tons. That have valued at 2,411.70 crores. So in the year of 2006 and 7, India exported fruits and vegetable about 9.84 lakh ton that have value 2,411.70 crores. Next is mango, grapes, apple, onion, potato, green vegetables like okra, bitter gourd, green chilies are the major item of export. So India exports all these fruits and vegetables that include mango, grapes, apple, onion, green leafy vegetables, bitter gourd, etc. India also exported 9.53 lakh tons of processed food comprising of mango pulp. So beside the export of whole fruits and vegetables, India also export processed food comprising mango pulp, juices, concentrates, dried and processed vegetables, pickle, chutney, alcoholic, non-alcoholic beverages that worth 2,757.74 crores. So this is the status of India, status of fruits and vegetables in India. Next is fruits. So owing to wide diversity of agroclimatic conditions, almost all types of fruits are grown in the country. So as we know in India, uh, India is a diverse country and in every aspect. So in the case of climate, agroclimatic conditions, in India, a number of climatic situations and weathers are present. So according to that agroclimatic zones, almost every kind of food, fruit is produced in our country. So India is capable to produce all kind of almost all kind of food in. So according to agroclimatic zone, foods are divided into different categories. First one is temperate food. So temperate fruits that are mostly produced in hilly areas or in a very cool environment. So it includes apple, pear, peach, plum, apricot, cherries, almond, walnut, and other nuts. After that, subtropical foods. Subtropical foods that require both type of temperature, some hot temperature as well as cold temperature. That include mangoes, guava, papaya, citrus, etc. Next is tropical fruit. Tropical fruits, for example, banana, pineapples, pota, lychee, grapes, etc. After that, arid fruits. Arid fruit include pomegranate, fig, falsa, bay, and enola. uh, Next is plantation crops. So plantation crops, for example, coconut, uh, cashew nut, and areca nut. So these are the different categories of fruits according to different agroclimatic conditions. Next is vegetables. So more than 40 kinds of vegetables are produced in our country. India comprises the prime position in cauliflower. Second is onion. Third is cabbage. So in India, there are about more than 40 kinds of vegetables are grown, out of which India plays at first position in the production of cauliflower, second in the production of onion, and third in the production of cabbage. The country produced 36% green peas, 30% cauliflower, and 10% onion, and thus account 13% of total vegetable production in the world. So this is the status of vegetable in India. Next is status of fruits and vegetable processing industry in India. So in the previous slide, we studied about status of fruits and vegetable in India. This is the status of fruits and vegetable processing industry. So what is the role of processing industry in the India? So processing industry in India account 14% of the total industrial output with 6.3% contribution in the national GDP. So out of total industries, food processing industries accounts 12%, 14% of the total industrial output that contribute in GDP is 6.3%. The food processing industries also play a very vital role in Indian economy and is establishing as one of the largest sector in terms of production as well as returns. So the installed capacity of processing fruits and vegetables in our country from more than 6,600 FPO licensed unit is about 3.85 million ton, which is less than 2% of the total fruits and vegetable production. So in India, there are more than 6,600 FPO licensed units that processed 3.85 million ton, which is less than 2% of the total fruits and vegetable production, against 60 to 80%, 83% in many horticultural advanced countries like 60 to 70% in USA, 70% in Brazil, 78% in Philippines, 80%, 80 and 83% in Saudi Arabia and Malaysia respectively. Further, the actual production of processed products from these units stood at only 1.33 million tons, which accounts for less than 35% capacity utilization of installed processing units. So, all in all, we can say that we have a large number of licensed units, but they are not efficiently used because the amount of processing is very low and their capacity of utilization is very high. So that's why only 2% of the total produce is being processed and preserved. So this is the quantity of processed fruits and vegetable product in India. So first column is about status, second is about different categories and third column is about position in India. So area million hectare, that is fruits. Under fruit, there is 9.5 million hectare area. Under vegetable, there is 7.9 million hectare area, and for other crops, there is 3.3 million hectare area. So production in metric ton, foods production is about 79.997 metric ton. Vegetable production is about 129.1 metric ton, whereas other crops like flour, spices, and aromatic uh, production is 5.66 metric ton. So the total export of fresh vegetables and fruits is 9.84 lakh tons, and their value is 2411.70 crores, whereas the total export of processed products uh, is 9.53 lakh tons, and their value is 2757.74 crores. Uh, on the other hand, the total number of cold storage in our country is 5,101, whereas storage capacity in metric ton is 21.7, and their processing capacity is 3.85, and actual processed food is only 1.33. So you can see that our storage capacity and the cold storage units are highly capable for to preserve and to process the foods, but they are not using efficiently. They only process 1.33% of the total produce. So the capacity utilization is less than 35%. So uh, there is a very much need to produce more and more uh, vegetables and fruits in these industries. Next is categorization of different processing units. So the categorization of different processing units in country indicates that 70% of the total unit comprise of home, cottage, small scale sectors. They have capacity to process up to 250 tons per annum, while 30% of the units consisted of large scale sectors with a capacity of processing about 30 tons per hour. So in India, the processing units are divided into two categories. First one is home, cottage, and small scale industries. That is about 70% of the total units, and their capacity is to process 250 tons per annum. While the remaining 30% units are consisted of large scale sectors, and with a capacity to process about 30 tons per hectare. However, large-scale sectors contribute 70% of the total production of processed foods, processed products in India. The region-wise distribution of units in country comprised in western areas there is 41% processed units are available. In south area 28%. In north and eastern region there is 22 and 9% processing units are available. With respect to public and private sector, about 95% of the total units are under private sector, and only 5% uh, in different states in India up to the year 2008. So out of total processing units, more than 95% units are belongs to public sector, whereas only 5% processing unit belongs to government sector. Next is major products which are prepared in these units include. So what are different major products that we made from these units? That include pulps, juices, concentrate, dried and processed vegetables, pickle, chutney, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. The proportion of different product accounts for fruits, juices, pulps, that is 25%, ready to serve beverages 13%, pickles 12%, jam and jellies 10%, synthetic syrup is 88%, whereas the squash and tomato products, canned products and other products are 4%, and 4% and also 18% respectively. So during 2007, India export 9.53 lakh tons of processed food that include mango pulp, juices, concentrates, dried processed vegetable, pickle, chutney, and they have worth about 2,757 crores. As such, export value of processed product was higher than that of. So we know that the export value of processed food is much more higher than the export of whole vegetable and fruits during the same year. Thus, there is a good scope. So from here we can conclude that there is a good scope of processing of fruits and vegetables into a different product to reduce wastage and earn foreign exchange. Next are the objective of fruit and vegetable processing. So what are the main objective of these industries are? First is to reduce wastage and losses. So most of the fruits and vegetable industry is the backbone of horticulture industry as it takes care of all possible waste that occur in spite of improvement in the distribution of market of fresh produce. Second objective is to handle glut because in glut season the price of fruits and vegetable decreases uh, very sharply. So for to handle glut or to handle the decreasing point of fruits and vegetable, so first we have to preserve them, to process them. So produce during glut season utilized for making different processed products. Thus, food processing helps in reducing wastage and handling of excess produce during glut season. Next is to stabilize farm prices and income. So as I told earlier, in glut season, the prices of fruits and vegetables decreasing sharply. So to maintain a balance of farm prices and income, there is a need for value addition to provide additional income to the farmer. Next is to utilize marketable surplus. So processing utilizes marketable surplus as well as skull and deformed produce to ensure remunerative returns to the grower. Fifth objective is to generate employment. So if there are more and more processing units and processing industries are available, they need more and more labor to employ in that types of industries. So processing of fruits and vegetables they are more labor intensive and they help to generate more direct and indirect employment for the masses. To add variety of diet, value addition and processing makes the food more attractive and palatable. They ensure nutritional security. They also earn foreign exchange through export of fruits and vegetables. So these are the objectives of processing industries. Next are the major constraints in the expansion of food industry. So what are the major constraints of food industry? So variation in fresh produce quality involving frequent changes in production schedule. There is a low productivity, high cost of raw material, low production percent area in the country in comparison of horticulture advanced countries in one of the major factor leading to high cost raw material. Third one is low quality of raw material in our country that leads to comparatively more raw material production of equivalent quantity for of finishing products. Next is non-availability of cost-effective technology for processing and packaging for fresh and processed products. Lack of infrastructure for harvest management, lack of chain, lack of cold storage. So these are the major constraints that come in the expansion of food industry. So another constraint is non-availability of trained manpower. Low because we prefer whole vegetable and fruits other than processed fruits and vegetables due to high cost, irregular supply, and non-uniform quality of processed products due to variation in raw material quality and the rules to batch process. High cost of packaging material, high taxes, excise duties, low capacity of utilization of food industries, financial, fiscal constraints, infrastructure constraints, and processing. So these are the different constraints that come in the expansion of food processing industry. Next is inadequate farmer processor linkage, leading to dependence on intermediates, lack of strategies for market promotion, lack of strategies for utilization of processing industries, waste of for value addition, lack of research and development in food processing sector because it links with the food industry. Next are the prospects of growth of processing industry. So in spite of number of constraints, there are a number of prospects, or you can say that number of advantages that are available for the growth of processing industries. First is increased urbanization. Processing industry change the lifestyle and food habits, increase the purchasing power of population, also change the consumption pattern of consumer. It also increase the awareness of population about health promotion, promoting food, increased demand for functional foods, organic foods, convenience foods, and diet foods, expansion of organized food retail, increase in population of working women having less time for spending in the kitchen, thus need to processed convenience foods. So these are the prospects for the growth in processing industry. So this is all about the status of fruits and vegetable processing units in our country, and what are their status in the country, what are the role of processing